whatever. Like even even in a win,
Well, that's
you learn.
the first step to learn is to understand your mistakes. If you don't want to
Right.
understand your mistakes, you will never learn.
True.
That's it.
True that.
Also, I
I
think
If you
it's
keep
like a
blaming
it's a
others,
training.
if keep
It's a
blaming
Go
others
ahead,
that you
sorry.
did that, they did that, you will never learn like that. That's
yeah.
what it is.
Also,
Okay,
I think it's
first of
like a
all,
training
I was
map.
triggered
Hold on,
because
hold on,
Munson
hold on,
called
hold
us
on.
out and he said, "Why is mid like getting hit?" It's like, dude, I mean, do you not see what's going on? Like, why are you yelling at us when we're obviously doing something? He's like, "What happened? We were gonna go push mid," and it's like, dude, we said at the beginning of the game we did not say officially we're gonna hit just push
Okay, you
mid.
see the word
So,
officially here? That's the problem.
like,
It's either you stick to a strategy or don't say anything. That's what
the
it is.
strategy is to go hit the Vittorias any which way, okay? So during the game, if we
wasn't the
see it
strategy.
route to the left, we hit it to the left, okay? If it's in mid, then we go mid, okay? If you want to be part of that discussion, by all means, go ahead. Don't just sit there and only make 36 units in your army. That's really, to me, that's your mistake. I'm looking up this game where Vassal was Turks. I can guarantee you he did not just make 36. And by the way, his score was way higher than you. He made bombard towers
Okay,
and supported
let me
us,
ask you
okay?
something.
So,
Those 36 units, what were they doing?
what were they?
doing?
You could have
Yeah.
made freaking, I mean, how many
Okay,
hussars?
let's say I made 200. What's up?
Like,
Okay, so what's after? What? Just I made just 36. What's the point?
dude, if you made 200 hussars, we would not be losing these games like we do. You would be hitting their eco, and yes, if they started making a bunch of halberdiers, then okay, we'll switch to a bunch of skirmishers. I mean, we'll
Yeah,
adapt.
but I think
So,
this is just all anecdotal. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all anecdotal. Honestly, I'm just saying it's all anecdotal. Like right now, I could like do like a small little puff on Dobo, and he just fully collapses. Does that mean Dobo sucks? No, it doesn't. I mean, Dobo is just like a new player that's learning right now, and it's okay.
I do suck, to be fair, but
It doesn't matter. But here's my point. It doesn't matter. The point is that the calibration is like, it's by the person. I mean, and if Shoaib and yourself or Logan are like kind of like a bit higher in the totem pole of like being aware, and that's okay. I mean, it's just that there's a proactive element to the folks that are more aware, right? Like maybe Dobo doesn't know what's going
Well,
on.
if
But
they were
Dobo has to
aware
be
in this
reminded.
map, if they were aware in this game, we wouldn't have a problem. That's the
I
problem.
know. But what I'm saying is, Munsif, what I'm saying is, the thing is, there's too many blind spots. So even when there's a call out for someone, it's like it's a half call out
Okay,
because
so
maybe there's other things going on too. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like everybody. That's why I'm saying like, okay, there may be like I would say this. Maybe there's one thing, not like three things. Maybe one thing that somebody could work on like for the loss of the game. So, and usually it's not just the fact that units weren't present. Generally speaking, when that happens, it's probably there was like other things going on, not just awareness in terms of like, because awareness isn't just like one person's job, right? It's like everybody's kind of collectively on the same page. And generally, if people aren't just kind of happen to be on the same page, if they're not on the same page, the reason that could probably happen is like if Dobo gets a little attack, So for example, like it doesn't matter what you're gonna say. Honestly, you can say and communicate everything correctly, but Dobo will be so busy with just the little thing that's happening with him, he's not gonna know. It's like too much for him. So what I'm saying is, because it's an RTS, there's too many things going on. Anyone can completely say, "Hey, well, you don't know what was going on with me, or you didn't know what was going on at this other side." I think the best thing to say is, okay, from a strategic standpoint, maybe there was mistakes or things happened. Maybe there's like a target of opportunities that also occurred, right? Like opportunities came up. Not everyone can see those opportunities, and more importantly, not everyone can take advantage of those opportunities, even if they do see them, right? And then maybe, and I think in the past where we have seen them, you've taken advantage of it and executed. That's when you've come up with like the smooth like bang 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 like really nice push. So like let's calm down a little bit. I mean, it's not like the biggest deal. I mean, there's things that are happening. I know things are happening, and I mean, part of it is to get exposed. And when you get exposed, it's kind of nobody likes that, but it's kind of like part of the game. So you kind of like check it out, see it, and then you move on. I mean, it's not the biggest deal. Honestly, it's not the biggest deal. But if you guys want that, we can do this.
My problem is we are not learning. That's my problem.
Really?
That's what I'm trying to get to. We are not learning from our mistakes. That's what
Okay,
it is.
okay. So let me.
Week after week, days after days, and we keep going the same. Next year, 2022, we're gonna be doing the same thing.
Okay, okay. Hold on,
It's
hold on.
true. That's what it is.
Okay, so let me ask somebody that's not part of the discussion right now. Shoaib, tell me what's he talking about? Like, he's saying that there was an awareness issue or there was something that was amiss.
No, I mean, I guess to be fair, that's why I'm not commenting much. Because to be fair, I guess I'll have to watch the
Okay, so
replay, right?
even you did not know.
Sorry.
So even you did not know really what really happened.
No, I mean, I knew that mid obviously, like they were Munsa was communicating, hey, mid is getting hit a bit, right? So we knew that it was getting hit.
Right.
Obviously, at that moment, Logan and I were basically taking out Sharky's TC and stuff in his base, right?
Okay.
With the Rams, because Logan had a few Rams ready and stuff, and then
Right.
we saw an opportunity because Logan scouted. He's like, "There's nothing here," so we went there, right?
Mhm.
So
And then me and Moses too were gonna take mid.
yeah, so one
and
one
then-
thing I guess one thing I would kind of highly recommend, and Munsa was not part of the team last game, the last game we played, but when Dobo and Sharky were there, you have to communicate with the person who's fighting next to you in the game, right? So if Dobo's, let's say, next to you, Munsif, and you have Hussars and Rams, for example, like you're saying, then obviously like Hussars get countered by what? By Halbs, right? So then you should communicate with Dobo. Dobo, I need you to pump out a shitload of skirms so my Halbs can live and you guys can try to hold, right? But when there's zero communication between you and Dobo and you guys are fighting with each other in the same area in mid, that's from both Dobo and Munster, from both of you guys. That's not
Yeah,
good. You guys need to
I will.
communicate.
I will. Yes, I will do that if there was
Uh-huh.
a chance for us to survive. I will do that. But knowing two players, there were three players in our
Yeah,
team.
yeah. So one mistake I think, not, I
There-
mean,
yeah,
whatever mistake or whatever that we had, I guess, like part of the reality, I guess, is that obviously if me or Logan, I think if one of us is not there to hold, then obviously it's generally a lot tougher for the other guys to hold, right? So technically, either me or Logan, one of us should be there, right? And that was the plan from the beginning of the game. Obviously, strategy cannot be set in stone either, because civs are new and the
Right.
game can change. Like for example, this game, I called out Sharky as Gots, for example, so the whole team has that bonus for the barracks, right?
Sure.
And then obviously, like these guys, for example, tried to like harass me and attack me a bit. They took out my second TC right on the left
Mhm.
and whatnot. So naturally, I had to ask for some help,
Correct.
right? Because the strategy in the beginning was I'll try to like handle Sharky's front on my own,
Mhm.
and then these three guys can put pressure on mid.
Right. Right.
Obviously, that didn't go as planned, so we had to adjust our strategy, right? So I mean, that part I think is not fair. That hey, the strategy from the beginning of the game is not the same strategy we followed in the game because things change, right? It's dynamic. So that
True.
part I think is something we have to take into account. And then yeah, I don't know about the. I guess the. I mean, at least I've learned with Turks over the past few months. I guess. I mean, yeah, with Turks basically, I go heavy farms and I go heavy cav usually, and obviously some Rams, right? So yeah, I mean, I would expect a large army actually at that stage of the game. So I'm not sure if you had enough farms or what was the issue there.
I had
But
7 or 8,000 of everything. I was just
It-
waiting,
yeah, but see, you shouldn't
to
have 7,000.
understand where to
but-
send my army.
Can I
That's
say-
why.
Because
Can I? Can I? Wait, hold on. Can I say?
hold
Hold
on.
on. Can I
Let me
say one
finish.
thing?
Let me finish. Double.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, because at one point, I know there was helps there too, but like you saw, like in the mid, like there was a shitload of skirms too, right? So whenever the halves separate even a bit, your cav is much more faster than the halves are. So even if the halves separate a bit from this army of skirms that they have, you can just go in, hit the skirms, come back out, then go in again, come back out. But
There's
if
no
you have,
space to do that.
yes, there was. But if you have horses just standing there, obviously then they're not going to be as effective. So you do need a good amount of horses. You need like 2 or 3 keys of horses as Turks, and then you need obviously like to communicate with your partner to kind of help your horses live. At least with Turks, that's what I've learned.
Can I
Okay,
say
it's
one
okay.
thing though too? So last game when me and Sharky were on the same team, they wanted us to hold mid, and I was like, I think that's a bad idea.
Well,
right? Like that's not.
if they
Hold on,
said
wait, hold
that,
on. Let me finish.
if
Let
they
me
said
finish. Let me
that,
finish. Let me
it
finish.
helped. Okay.
Yeah, but so I said it's a bad idea for me and Sharky to have to hold mid. We're gonna get destroyed. But we really communicated through it. We talked through it, and we held mid. And then this game, it was they wanted the same thing. We couldn't pull it off because we just weren't communicating at all. I mean, that was the major issue. And then I didn't know.
One already.
I'm trying to push. I'm building up my halves like I always do, which we all know I do that. But it was different because me and Sharky knew, like, all right, this is the game plan. We're gonna do this. We'll hold this. We'll go this way. We'll do that, and then we'll kind of make a diversion for everybody. But we had no communication. So that's all I want to say. Not that anything about this game particularly, just that there was we just had a lapse of communication on our
Okay.
side in general. I think.
It makes a difference when someone calls to do something than just standing and waiting for somebody else to tell you what you do. And if you do something, they tell you, why did you do that? Right? So there's a difference. If you stayed in the mid, or why did you stay in the mid? If you went forward to the front and you left the mid empty, so why did you come in the front? So there's always a blame. There's always something wrong that someone doesn't do something. Then it's blame of doing something.
I don't think it's a blame on anyone. It's just
well, ask Logan. Yeah, he likes to blame others, but the point, that's not the point. The point is for us to learn our mistakes. If we don't understand that we did something wrong, we will never learn from it. To call it the last action, as soon as I saw 3 different units, 3 different colors, and each one has different kinds of units, it was already GG.
I think the difference is that they're like I said, I think that so one thing, regardless of whatever, there's communication that needs to occur, especially if people are defending or going on the attack or whatever, right? So that's important. So that needs to happen. And number 2, I think the it's the way it's communicated, where it's like the agitated blaming. Like, let's not do that. Like, essentially, let's talk through about the issue. And like I said, for the most part, I think the best way to talk about things is just basically be like, okay, strategically things changed. If there's one thing we need to work on, it's this for each person. I think right now we're at the stage where if you just say, okay, our strategy was this, actually didn't work, things changed, we're going to do this, and you know what, it may or may not work, and when the game plays out, you're like, you know what, it didn't work and there was a problem. And I'll say this, generally speaking, whoever's Turks generally struggles, so kind of expected to some extent. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if there's one thing you can do, what is it that you can do? So obviously, if you've got units, you can. Of course, if the guy's getting heavily countered, then the guy's like stuck with all his cavalry and he's heavily countered by like tons of pikes and he doesn't know what to do. So now there's that extra communication that needs to occur. So I would just encourage that extra communication. And if that extra communication can happen, then I mean, we're good. So really quickly, did you guys want to? I mean, do you guys want to switch with Munsif, or Munsif? Did you want to?
It's okay. It's already 1 for me. It's too late. I can't play another game. That's it.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
I was targeting 1, but it's already 10-1.
Yeah, but the games are about 20 minutes. They're not even long. It seems long, but it isn't.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
whatever
I'm
you
gonna play
whatever
just
you
one
prefer.
game. I will play 1 game, but I'm not gonna comment after.
No, but you want to play the other team? That's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
play with the other team. I'm not
Okay.
Give me
gonna-
my frenemy. Give me my frenemy. Give me Sharky.
Okay.
I want my frenemy on my team then.
Actually, that's not. If you want, you can give a Sharky. That's fine.
Okay.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Go with
That's
Sharky.
fine. So let's switch that. Let's choose the teams and let's rock and roll.
Are we going to butt munchers or butt her?
A butt hurt.
You got to go to Butthurt after that.
Yeah.
All good, man. Entertainment for the stream.
Nah, man. What's if it's the way he says it?
So
Wait,
you get
there's
triggered.
there
way
is
he
no
says it.
actionable. There's no
Yeah.
actionable.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
maybe you should go there. Oh no, you know what? You should have went there. Oh, maybe wait. You should have went to the front. No, but wait. You didn't go to the front. You should have went to the back. What the frick? Just say something straight, and we're gonna do
Right.
it. Keep sending me all directions. Tell me, oh, why did you do that?
Right.
I'm pushed to talk here, and so how are we distributing the colors and whatnot? So
Let's do the same as last time. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, we can do the same. Do the exact same. Once if your flank will be protected, then all you got to worry about is that front side.
All right. And again, try pull the same move. He went to the side of the map, tried to gather things, and I told him, don't put 4 different games in a row. Don't do that. And he did it.
The best is I know about it because the cavalry is
Of
just
course
smacking
you
the
know,
rams.
because exactly the same thing. So I don't know what's the
And
point of
he,
doing
and he
campaign
keeps
like that.
building more. Oh, that was too funny.
Once if he may want to, because in his mind he thinks you're triggered, so he may actually want to try
I'm not
to.
triggered.
No,
I'm
listen.
able to
Did you
move
listen to
on
what I
and
said, bro?
learn. That's the thing.
Listen to what I said. In
Yeah.
his mind, okay, in
Yeah.
his mind, he thinks you're triggered, so they may want to tease you further to see if they can get you to like somehow quit or screw up or something. So I'm just saying, be ready, because there chances are the guy may try to pull something, like Shoaib may pull something. You know what I mean? So on your side, you freaking just be ready.
I'm fine.
Nice, nice, nice. It's all good, brother.
Not when you play with the other team.
Come on, man.
Oh,
Last week I was singing this team. When I go the other team, I keep fighting. That's the
Really?
difference between the two teams.
Really? Damn. That sucks.
I'm gonna get popcorn and listen to the stream, man.
You should. It's you know, it's chaos, I guess.
The strategy.
They're gonna try early game. They can't afford for us to like establish.
that's what they've been doing all day.
Yeah.
It's literally what they've been doing all day.
Ready to rock.
And the funny part, they lost all the units in the front and didn't say anything. They kept
Yeah.
quiet.
Ooh, I'm Khmer.
Shit, Shark. You think he'll pull off that early hit?
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
Sharky's Huns. So that's
You know how to protect, Munsif? You know how to
Really?
protect?
Say again, you were cutting.
I'm saying you know how to protect.
Yes, I'm gonna play defensive.
I'm saying
No, you gotta build defensive right from the get-go. With the Huns.
Okay.
Munsif, you're too open. You're too open, Munsif. Munsif, you're too open. He'll send the horse through.
Okay.
You gotta close this. Build your TC here. Build your TC here. Kill this thing and build your TC on this side. By the wood line and the Vitora. Your TC. There's still a hole. You've got still a hole, man. Yeah, you've got two holes. You got one more hole. No, not there. Just build one inside, right here.
Where's the hole?
It's right by the Vitora, between the Vitora and the town center. In between.
Oh.
Yeah, right there.
It's gonna take too much for you to do it.
Well, Sharky's scouts over here, so...
I mean, so he's gonna go straight for Munsif next. No, he's coming for. Yep, he's gonna look for Munsif. All right, Munsif.
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah, I couldn't help you with this count.
More Cav.
I'm making barracks.
Building my second TC over here in the corner. That's gonna be my food production. Sending scouts forward. Hey Logan, you trying to snipe my bill? Too bad I can garrison in the house. Facile, Idlevilles.
No.
Why this one can't?
Scanning a scout to Shoaib side. Facile, Idlevilles.
Front of me to see what's going on.
អ្នកសាងសង់រួចរាល់អ្នកសាងសង់អេសួស្តីបាទអ្នកសាងសង់អ្នកសាងសង់អេសួស្តីត្រៀមរួចរាល់អ្នកសាងសង់អ្នកសាងសង់បាទ
The show's got a siege workshop up.
Dover has 4 skirmishers and 4 pikes.
Building a third TC right there.
Then we can be second one.
I can barely hear you, Facile.
Facile, they can't hear me.
Yeah, sorry, they're working. They're right here in this area. Short here, trying to farm.
Gotcha.
I was trying to do the push to talk to avoid
I'll come help you out real quick.
I'm gonna start building in the mid too.
Picking off all the bills. Vessel, don't go too far in. You're fighting under that TC, that's bad.
Gilbo's making a lot of skirmishers. Gilbo's got a lot of skirmishers. Like a key of them. And he's sending them, they're like right here.
Copy, I'm gonna make some cavalry.
Same.
Yeah, they're coming. Here.
Joe's got
There's
all the
5.
helps. Yep.
Alright. They might be coming here.
变反击，
Step one is over here.
Yep,
Yeah, they're
they're assembling
there.
in,
They are
in the
there.
corner.
In
They're
the
assembling
corner.
in the corner.
บ้านเงียบสั่งสอน
If you can send something to help. I'm making units there as well, just in case.
Roger, I'm established. Let me come off.
They're coming. They're pushing.
Okay, Roger.
เรียกบัญชี
Yeah, everybody's here.
เงียบสั่งสอน
They might be sending rams too.
Yep, there's the Rams. I'm gonna see if I can pick off the skirmishers because they're by themselves right now.
Especially the rams.
ริงรูทรอ
I'll push in mid to cause some. Oh, there.
Yeah. Well, I thought you guys gonna come.
Dude, building, we're right there, bro.
Yeah. What happened? I sent. Come on. Shit.
You got Tarkins coming right here. I'm working on that.
I'm gonna go to the town center.
บ้านเปล่งปลิ่ง
Repair it, not go inside. Shit. It's like everyone will just want to prove a point. And that's it.
Incoming skirms.
เงียบสั่งสอน
You're being attacked right here on the Pretoria.
I know. How you doing, once if
I'm rebuilding there. I just rebuilt my toast.
Okay, they're starting to build up over here. Sending my skirmishers to mid.
เอ้ยซูซูเกะเงียบสั่งสอนเงียบสั่งสอนบ้าน
Vassal, you might want to back off the step lancers.
Yeah. I've got to improve my food.
Well, I'm just massacring skirms right now. There we go. Sharky has a huge key of cab right there.
Jesus B អ្នកសាងសង់
អ្នកសាងសង់អ្នកសាងសង់
បាទអ្នកសាងសង់
បាទរបបរាញៈបាទខ្ញុំចូលរបបរាញៈ
What the hell?
They're really trying to focus on getting that
Yep, stone.
I'm just focused on raiding them right now.
Making ramps to support you.
Sharky's trying to come in.
Green Rouge Road
Sending ramps to come in from the mid.
របបរាញៈខ្ញុំទីបាទខ្ញុំនឹងខ្ញុំទីអញ្ញេវេលុក របបរាញៈទៀតព្រីម៉ាវុធ
បាទ
Gonna build a castle forward.
Roger.
បាទអ្នកសាងសង់
ទៀតអញ្ញេរបបរាញៈខ្ញុំទៀតអញ្ញេរបបរាញៈបាទខ្ញុំទៀតអញ្ញេបាទរបបរាញៈទៀតអញ្ញេខ្ញុំទីគោមុខរបបរាញៈខ្ញុំនឹងទៅ
ចាអ្នកសាងសង់
បាទព្រីម៉ាវុធបាទទី
They got Trebs up.
ព្រីម៉ាវុធ
Yeah, see that? Roger.
Gonna put pressure.
Sending him in.
Putting pressure.
របបរាញៈវេលុក
អ្នកជួសជុល
Need any siege by the
ព្រី
way.
ម៉ាវុធ
Yeah, I'm making some traps, so we just need to get to.
វេលុក
Get to those traps and we'll be okay.
Okay. There is a... Oh, that's right.
And their traps are down.
Okay.
They got the castle, but their traps are down.
Right.
I still have 2 traps up though.
Try to protect them.
អ្នកសាងស
เทียบ
ង់
ตรีมาวุธ
Go ahead and send your rams forward.
My ram?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just send.
เทียบบัตโจมหนึ่งเดือนบ้าโรบอทนาเนียบ้าเทียบอันเดียวบัตตรีมาวุธโรบอทนาเนีย
សាងសង់សាងសង់
เทียบอันเดียวโรบอทนาเนีย
I'm gonna try to take out the siege workshop that Logan just threw up there.
អ្នកសាងសង់សាងសង់សាងសង់សាងសង់អ្នកសាងសង់សាងសង់
Sounds good. Packing up my traps and moving them forward to start hitting Logan's TC.
អ្នកសាងសង់សាងសង់
Sending forward my
Who's that?
my traps, 2 rams, and an onager.
โรบอทนาเนียโรมุเทียบอันเดียวบ้าชัวร์โจมหนึ่งเดือนชัวร์โจมเวลมุกเทียบอันเดียวบ้าเวลรีมาวุธเทียบบัตโจมตี
Munsif, can you move your halps forward into that massive cav they have coming forward?
I was making more fun.
អ្នកសាងសង់
Shuaib is queuing up pikes over here.
អ្នកសាងសង់អ្នកកប់អ្នកសាងសង់
Making a move into their Pretoria.
Where?
The Pretoria, enemy Pretoria.
Which one?
Right here from mid, man.
Purple?
Yeah, it's purple and the other, right?
Yeah. Okay.
บ้าโจมบัตตินโจมบัตตินโจมบัตตินโจมบัตตินบัตตินตรีมาวุธเวลมาวุธโรบอทนาเนียเวลุบ้าโจมบัตตินเทียบอันเดียวโจมโรมุกบ้าบัตโจมหนึ่งเดือน
Forward building in that area.
Hey, I'm gonna send more villagers. Thank you.
រួចរាល់អ្នកសាងសង់
บ้า
They're trying to gather here in the left side.
That's more just Shuaib.
บ้าตรีมาวุธเทียบบัตโจมหนึ่งเดือนโรบอทนาเนียโรบอทนาเนียบ้าโรบอทนาเนียเวลุเทียบบ้าโรบอทนาเนียบ้าตรีมาวุธเทียบอันเดียว โรบอทนาเนีย
Where's your traps? I lost it.
The traps are dead. They
Yours.
just went.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
dead
they.
too? Okay,
Yeah, they
that's
just
fine
went down.
then. Yeah.
And I don't have a castle.
អ្នកសាងសង់អ្នកសាងសង់
អ្នកសាងសង់
I'm gonna cry about Blue doing this, blue doing that.
บ้าเวลุตรีมาวุธเทียบอันเดียวบ้าโรมุกโจมหนึ่งเดือนเทียบบัตตินเวลุมุก
Well, let's go to the Fedora, I guess.
로봇하냐 쇼능저 바 벨로 로봇하냐 바 로봇하냐 드리마봇
What is
모붓
it?
드리마봇
Sharky.
벨로 바 드리마봇 로봇하냐 벨로 드리마봇 바
Thor is gonna be down in 10 seconds.
Dobo doing a long shot. I don't know what he's doing here, but he's doing something.
Sharky's flicker is down. Next is Logan.
Yeah. I already got the ram on it. Fassel, just FYI, Dobo did hit your farms, but it's cleaning up right now.
Alright, go left or right? We'll go to... What's the Thor is there? Well, guys, you guys wanna go to Shibes before or what?
You go, Shay, and then you go and
Up to you, I'm with the team. I'm not gonna do it myself.
Do whatever you want. You don't
Yeah,
bitch and moan. So do what you gotta do.
But you should be man. Logan, man.
Well...
Well, Logan's dead, man.
He should be crying now, so I don't know. He didn't even want to resign. This is how bad it is.
Hey, man. Listen, they got one shot at you.
Well, you lose a fight, but you don't lose the war. That's what counts.
It's okay. Well, thanks for clearing up my pot, buddy.
Let's go. There is town center first, I guess. Two castles in the back, seriously. Rams to the town center and castles. Where's my units? Come here.
Incoming rams from show.
That's fine. Seriously. Instead of defending, send in an attack. That doesn't work like that. It's coming to me. I have no Fitoria.
No, he's trying to get to me.
Oh, I see. Well, this one. Now?
No, it's Sharky.
No. Oh, Sharky, okay, because...
You were afraid about me? Let's be real. You were gonna quit, now it's like, let me go attack blue for fun.
Well, I only came here because you attacked. That's the because he didn't expect that, but he didn't know that you had attacked unless you told him you did. Hey, you got you guys at least got one shot, and you took Munsif out. Pretty clean sweep there, Shuaib.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And that was the consensus from the team, man.
What? Was that the consensus from the team?
All I gotta say is somebody's munching down on a cheesesteak right now, straight up.
That was a good game overall. Munson made a comeback though, so it's all good.
Once it made a comeback, I'm telling you, man.
Blue hardly came back after I got at him, though. Let's be real. We all know I'm joking, right? This is a joke. This is sarcasm.
I don't know who's more quiet tonight. Is it Logan or Trump? I'm having a hard time.
Hey, but Munson, I have a stat for you.
Leave it to Orange to complain about blue.
Logan's largest army is 47 this game. what happened there, Logan?
I guess I had the largest army here.
Yeah, you did.
You actually did.
Yeah, no.
My only goal in that game was to take out your Pretoria, and I did that, and boom, done.
My goal was to win the game, and we did.
I honestly didn't care about anything else. Plus, once I saw blue start building mid, I was like, all right, well, that's good.
You guys actually had a great chance to really push the advantage mid. It kind of
that, and I think when we took out Munson, I think we should have cemented that by building that bay area and then going from there. I think.
But I guess what I'm saying is that, say, even if you put that to one side for 1 second, what I'm saying is that you actually, in numbers and with the buildings you had, because I scouted you guys, you were like so nicely positioned to just sweep in mid.
Yeah,
like,
that was the plan.
I don't know why you didn't.
I think we waited too long. That was the plan.
I think we were attacking Munsif too.
No, after he's talking about after that, because we had Rams sitting for a little while, right? And then I think we kind of took our time there, which we should.
Logan, you were purple, right? Mm-hmm. Did you make those Rams like way early? Because I think he had like 6-7 Rams.
You know how many he had because you came to kill him.
Hey.
I think I made that many. I think like 4 at 4.
I like that though. Like that.
Touche.
There were quite a few, but you know what the funny thing is? The Rams were in a train, and his pikes were as a group running everywhere. They were running everywhere to protect the train, but they were so grouped. And the train was long.
Well, I had to also yell at Logan to delete one of his buildings because my treads are getting blocked too. From going straight down.
Yes. Oh my god!
He did delete it once I communicated, but that kind of like a little weird.
Listen, you guys did good with because you did take out the castle.
That was my goal.
That was very good.
Barely took it out, but it went down.
No, come on, man! But the point is that you took the castle, so that was pretty good. So I just thought that you guys had like a great army comp to actually make the necessary to push through. Man,
I think like you're saying. I mean, I guess in hindsight, I think that we need to be smarter with the way we build buildings because we kind of like screwed ourselves over. I think with the pathway for the Rams and the siege and everything.
Yes.
Like it had a clear.
Don't forget the objective, man. There's a reason why I built it like a wall because I didn't care about mid.
No, but we had the advantage afterwards.
But also, everyone is disregarding the fact that me and Sharky were holding mid for a while by ourselves, like gangsters. We were fucking cutting it up, dude. We were down there with the House and the fucking skirmish. No one was getting in. He's no longer a friend of me. He's a friend now.
Right? We Gucci?
No, man.
Yeah, we are. We are.
You guys did really good working together and teaming. I think like what I'm saying is that like you give yourself like with that one hit. The thing is, you guys actually gave yourself a significant chance to make a real push. Because here's the thing: if you did make that push, you win the game. Because the interesting thing is that the two Pretorias are close to each other. Mm-hmm. So you literally win the game. Like it's GG. It's done. Like you win. I'm just like because you didn't. I think that's that. The struggle is like you didn't come with the Rams, like you didn't come up with those units sooner, And that's what, because once Munsif was gone, you have to kind of think about it. We had some army units on his side, so it's not like we were consolidated like in mid, like really, So you guys had a great opportunity to actually make an impact. I would have actually liked to. I know you guys started doing it, but like as you're pushing, collect the resources. It seems like you were collecting resources and just kind of hanging around, as opposed to like trying to kind of come forward with the units that you had.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, listen, you guys actually could have just won it.
No, the left gave us a big advantage because they also got the relics and the stone there too, right? So
there you go. That's why you guys could have. I suspect that's why you guys did come up with some gold, and that was really good to see. And that's what the map is about. Like like if you lose one side, like it's detrimental because the relics and everything, and the stone and everything. So it's not like just because you lose mid, like suddenly you lose game. Like that doesn't happen in this game. So I thought that you guys had such a great advantage on Munsif's side that I thought you guys would just take advantage of it, especially because Sharky and Dobo were doing like a great job.
Well, yeah, they were communicating good, so that was the point of the.
And that's great, man. Come on, man. Logan, you can't be like, man, I wanted to take the Fedora and that's it, because that's like basically like you're spitting in the face of the teamwork that Dobo and Sharky did. Like, did you tell them that, hey, I'm gonna take out the Fedora and resign? Because that's what you're saying, as opposed to like,
Well,
like
okay. So the other thing though is, why do I have to be 100% every game when other people can slack off? Like that's the thing. Like, so in a way,
But no one was slacking off that game. No one's slacking off that game. No one's slacking off that game on our team.
I'm not saying you did. I'm saying that like I kind of want a game where I don't have to be the one that's like doing all the work.
Okay, hold on, real quick.
We held up for you.
Real quick.
I'm not saying that game wasn't like that. What I'm saying is, I'm giving you guys an opportunity to actually do something, and you did. You did great. And that's kind of like, it's nice to kind of take a seat, like the back seat, and be like, okay, let me follow these guys. That's what I was doing after we took out the Victoria. That's what I'm trying to say. It's no discredit this game. It's other games in the past where if you look at the statistics and stuff, where it's like, oh my god, like Logan's doing all this, like all the kills and stuff, like, and yeah.
Let me flip that on you, Logan. What about me?
What about it? Like,
I have to deal with 3 versus 4 on a regular basis. So does that mean I have to show up with my A game every time? Because it does. Does it not? Look what happened last week. I was super sick. Look what happened to the games.
Yeah,
so if you have one player on your side having to play an A game, do you have one side on our team has to play an A game? So I mean you can say that, but I don't get that chance either. So you and me are even. So it's an even thing for the teams, right? That's what the balancing is for.
Some of the games where we like win, and like there's always the excuse like, oh, Samon's not feeling well or something, like it's, or he's just like not really there. So like that's okay. That's why we won, or I don't know. I'm not really.
No, now listen, man. You're bringing past games for some weird reason, and I don't know why you're bringing past games. All I'm saying is that I'm just telling you. So we need to kind of remember why we got here. We got here because you guys royally suck ass with deathmatch games. And you also suck with gold. So that's why we're here. We're not... Everybody here would love to play a deathmatch game with all the great resources and just go in and play the games and get them done. The reason we're here is because you guys suck ass with all of that. So now that we're playing the games, turns out that, oh, we have communication problems. Okay, so now we've been doing better with communication. Then there was like, oh, we have like some balancing issues. So we've been divvying out the team so that now there's a little bit more balance to that. But you're not going to get like picture perfect everything. But in a win, you learn like the mistakes. And I've told you so many times, like how many times I haven't burned you guys for like all these mistakes so that you can do the things you're doing. So when you're thinking about, oh, and the problem is because you're thinking the win. You see how Dobo or like Sharky is thinking? They're thinking, hey man, we held mid. That was great. And you know what? That's awesome. because that's something maybe they weren't able to do before, but now they're able to do it, and they had up their game and they're up their communication, and there's got to be credit for that. And so they're not really, nobody's like, listen, man, I'm not really thinking or look at these games as wins and losses. I'm just looking at the overall as to how are we generally doing so that we can get to the point where I can start removing restrictions. You see what I mean? Like, I want to be able to move restrictions. I want people to be able to build castles and gold units and, like, experience the full run of the game. So let's not forget that. But at the same time, because of the types of people that we have and because we have, like, skill variance, I mean, you know, not everyone's going to be at the same level. So to balance the game, that's why the teams are structured the way they're structured. And hey, man, I mean, Saman has to play the game. I mean, literally last week, Saman couldn't play the game properly because he was sick, and we literally had to change the composition of the team. Because the one thing we're not doing is me having to play you guys. Like, that's never going to happen like that. Like, there's no lesson to be learned in that situation. You see, there's no lesson. It's just getting destroyed. There's no lesson. But when you're playing with Salman, with a handicap, there is like lessons where you can like take advantage and you're learning. So what I like about your team is, you know, Shoaib and you have been communicating much better. The strategies have been better. You've been experimenting, and that's been a great success. Okay, you guys have been regularly now. Before you couldn't even take out one Fatora. Now you guys are able to get one Fatora, and now it's like, okay, what do we do for the next one? Like, how do we get to the next level? Then there was a problem. Well, we can't get to the next level because other people don't have, like, they can't defend. So think about it. Here's something you guys accomplished today. You accomplished 2 people doing offense and 2 people doing defense. Come on, man. Give Dobo and Sharky credit, man. Like, what the hell? Like, they did great defense. So now you had a situation where you had 2 people go attack and 2 people defend. And you weren't able to do that before because mid would go completely gone, like collapse entirely, and it would be GG. But this wasn't the case this time. So, I mean, you know, like, you got, so I'm not really looking at the win-loss as much as I'm saying, okay, Dobo took a step forward. Sharky's been stepping up forward. Munsif actually did pretty okay, considering everything that he went through, okay? And you and Shoaib actually worked together with the dynamic. So, hey, all I'm saying is it's not all bad, and it doesn't all come down to winning and losing like the way you're thinking. It's just that we got to take, like, you know, everybody's got like issues. I mean, I could start listing all the issues you have, but so what? I mean, I understand that you got issues, so you and everybody else has issues, so what's the point? Like, okay, no big deal. Now, the fun part of the game is, regardless of the win and loss, for the little things in terms of being able to communicate, being able to learn from mistakes, not able to repeat the mistakes, I'm so happy to see, for example, like the Hun rush has been kind of like, now people are not just completely falling apart on Huns. You know, it before 2-3 weeks ago, people were just dying and the game ended. Munsif kind of like did, you know, he held his own, and other people kind of held their own. And even on your side, you guys, knowing that Hun's players coming, you guys started building defensively. So, you know, people are learning. I mean, that's awesome. Like, why not celebrate that? Like, what the hell? Like, I'm not thinking win-loss as... I mean, I know people kind of have come off with, like, I don't know, maybe a bad taste. Like, oh, it would have been great if we won and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat to everybody. This is training. It's literally training. So if you're making mistakes and then you die or get destroyed, awesome. Okay? So, but at the same time, I don't want it to be all, you know, negative Nancy and just, like, harp on all the negatives. I want to bring the positive stuff that everyone's doing. Like, especially it's great encouragement for folks like Dobo who are always building one type of unit. But this time, Dobo, awesome the fact that you actually built like skirmishers this time. You know what I mean? Like, that was awesome to see. Like, you're really working with your teammate. You were really like working with them. I could definitely see that there was a lot of communication. Sharky, great job. You kind of like had the numbers. You took care of business. You're able to hold mid. You did the right things. You build the structures. I mean, again, this was like great stuff. Like, okay, so I mean, those are things. Does that mean that Sharky and Dobo are gonna single-handedly go on offense and take shit out or take a Fatora out or whatever? No. But you know what? That's not expected either. It's just
I was gonna say, fuck no, doesn't mean that.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying, like
no, we're not.
to me, people cannot be disingenuous, especially because we have such a delicate balance to the team structure. You know, Logan, you are with Shoaib for a reason, and there's a reason why Salman's on the opposite team. It's a very balancing thing. So imagine like how Salman was feeling sick and he couldn't play, and it threw off the balance. It's kind of like the same thing. Like if you say, "Oh, I have to have an A game every time," and whatever, you know what that means? The balance skews so bad. Like it's the same. It's just as bad as Salman not playing properly, like because he's sick. It's just lopsided. But you know what? For someone like you though, who's like always on point, always on like, hey, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. I never thought that this was gonna be like really a problem. I mean, you can play. I know every time in your mind you're thinking A game is. See, if in your mind A game is win, I mean you're just gonna be frustrated. But if A game is we made less and less mistakes, I worked with my team got better, and I was more consistent, then you know what? You win. You literally win. Because your team wins in getting better, which means you actually helped all of us get a step closer to those deathmatch games with full gold and no restrictions. So I think that's really important. And the one other thing I would say is, you know, with Munsif and some of the other players, you know, we gotta be. I mean, if we want to talk about it, like I said, I don't think. I mean, there's if I start sitting down and talking with everybody about all the issues they're making in the game, I mean, it'll just be like terrible. So what I'm saying is, maybe we only pick on from a strategy side what worked and what didn't work, and then okay, you know what? Maybe what is it that we could have done different? And you know what? On a personal note, each and every individual person could say, you know, of all the things I could have done better that contributed to the loss, I can do this one thing better. And the next time when you guys get together, you don't do that one thing, right? Like that one thing. And as long as we're having that type of communication, I think it's less combative, and it's less like, you know, kind of like blaming, and it's more about like, okay, guys, this is how we need to get better. And I'm saying that's really critical, because I'll tell you, there is such a thing as, you know, people getting upset, and then they take that to the next game. And the problem is that even though from the computer standpoint and the game standpoint, it's a brand new game, but because we're human beings and we carry that, like, you know, that emotional baggage, it really impacts the communication, man. Like, a person's not going to communicate as much, or they're not going to do as much, or they're just like still kind of pissed off or something. So what I'm saying is that we got to make sure that we keep it short and simple, even when you guys are discussing your stuff, and then quickly transition to the next game. Like, okay, what is the one thing we need to do better? The one thing. What's that one thing? Maybe, hey, Munsif, you communicate more. I don't care right now if it's actionable or not. I need you. You're not talking that much. I need you to talk more. Whether he makes units or not, or this and that and the other, it's all irrelevant. I need you to do this because I know that if he can do this, I know that the other stuff will follow. But if you're saying, I want you to do this one and this one and this one and this one, and oh, here's a strategy, and oh, this is what you're gonna do, and then things change in the middle, man, I'll tell you this much: that's too much processing. Too much processing. That's just way too much. I'm sorry, it's just way too much. So it's really.
So, can I say one thing to that point, because I think that's a really good point, and I think that I'd like to point out what I think our major fault was, and it was that me and Sharky were communicating so well, and then Shweeb and Logan were communicating with each other really well, but we weren't all communicating as a team, right? So it's like we were doing one thing and we didn't know what was going on one side, right?
Right.
So it's like next time you got to bring it all together as a team. So like that's, I think, what really kind of fucked us on that game, because it just wasn't a cohesive unit at the end of the day. So I mean, I think that if we're gonna have these teams next week or whatever, we just need to work on that, working through those items, and that's like a huge thing for us, because we did have middle, and you know, they were pushing, but we weren't. They were pushing, and we were ignoring them, and we were, you know, they're pushing to the left, we're pushing mid, they're ignoring us, we're ignoring them, and we weren't like a whole team. So then it just broke down. But if we were all working together, it's a whole different story. But we weren't. We were just kind of, all right, me and Sharky, Shweeb and Logan. That's what's, we just kind of were. I was just listening to Sharky, Sharky was listening to me, and vice versa. So, like, I think that's like right there. Like, I can identify that as that was our weakness. That's why we lost. For sure. That's definitely why we lost.
Yeah, so there you go. So to me, it's just like I just don't want like other folks, like everybody is in it together, and I don't want someone to just simply say, "Hey, I was just in the game for this long, and then this other stuff, I didn't care." Like to me, that's upsetting because it's kind of like super disrespectful for the work and effort that all the other players who are completely engaged the whole time, like the whole time. For them, the game did not end when Munsif's Fatoria went out. For them, the game was all the way through, and they were all in it to the very end. So to me, that's kind of like that's not about a game. That's just being disingenuous. So whether it's like maybe the words that maybe Logan you didn't choose your words correctly, or maybe you did mentally check out, or you were like, hey, as far as I'm concerned, I'm done, and let somebody else do it. No, that's not how the team works. Because I guarantee you, if you before you started the game and you said, hey, this is our strategy. I'm gonna take Munsif's shit out, and then I'm done. I guarantee you, everyone would be like, "What the f is this? Like, why are you playing that?" Because we're playing it to actually make a difference. So my point is that if you wouldn't do if you wouldn't do that to your team, like before the game, it makes no sense that you do it during the game while they're all thinking our most experienced players, meaning Shoaib and Munsif, Shoaib and Logan, they're just like they're gonna lead, right? Like we'll defend. And you know what? They followed what you guys told them, and they were super communicative, and they did great work. So I just think, like, hey, man, like that. I don't think there's any of that. The when I do things, and that's why there's no comparison between any player to me. If I let things go, it's because I'm teaching certain lessons. I do not expect, nor do I believe that any of you are in any position to teach anyone else like lessons and trolling and that sort of thing. You guys are not in any position to do that. The only person that does that is me. So it may, unfortunately, it just is how the game is, like I haven't, and by the way, I hope and this is Jobo and everybody else, I hope you guys remember, even in some of your wins when we had losses, I was like, hey, I didn't get to your issues. Even though you won, I didn't get to your problems because there were so many problems on our side. But you know what? As we start working through the equation or the issues, then guess what? If scouting is not an issue, if we've got things going on okay on our side, now we can start looking at, okay, what did you guys do that you could have done better? Like sometimes we've never had that conversation. So you're gonna see games where you'll win, and then you'll see games where you'll lose. But at the end of the day, everyone has made a lot of mistakes. Like even in this game, everybody made mistakes. Like they did. So, but whatever, it's okay. I want to make sure that we're balancing the fun with the the learning and the idea that we can get to get to the promised land, which is a lot of gold, full market, full gold units, and fully going at it.
That sounds nice. That sounds nice, man.
that sounds promised.
Yeah.
That Gobo would love it.
I'm actually dream of cards trading tonight.
The shit. I know you guys. That's all you.
I think general rule follow is easy for me. I mean, at least that's the way I try to lead when I do lead. During the game itself, I think it doesn't help anyone from any member to be kind of confrontational or have a frustrated tone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, because that just derails the game even further, right? Like, even if the guy, let's say, was trying, and then he starts feeling like he's getting attacked, it's gonna probably even be less impactful, right, or less communicative. So, I think during the game, let's try to keep it as open as we can, actionable, of course, as we can. And then after the game, of course, if we want to discuss post game, that's fine. But during the game, I think we gotta keep it clean.
you know, I mean, and this isn't like a. Here's the thing: it's not a hard fast rule because people do get frustrated in the game and stuff. But what I am saying though is, at the end of the day, we gotta still respect each other, and you know, it cannot reach the point where people get totally exasperated. Like everybody, you know, we're adults over
Yeah,
here.
but like you said, I mean, so maybe someone's having a bad day or someone's tired, right? So I mean, I always have to take that into account. But but still, like I guess, yeah, especially as experienced players like Logan and Salman, of course. Like I've never seen Salman lose his cool, for example, right? Even though we've
Right.
made a lot of mistakes. I mean, uh, so we have to just kind of like I guess kind of do the same thing that he does.
Yeah, I mean, and guess what? So to me, it's just one of those learning moments, and that's okay. I mean, it's just one of those things
He
where I
did, he
read.
did, he did lose his cool one time when my pallies were dancing around, but
Oh shit! You remember that? I remember that.
he made,
I
a, clip-
remember that.
he made a clip out of it on his Twitch. So
Oh, yeah, but Salman getting pissed off about that is still. Well, there were two instances he got pissed. He got pissed about that, and he also got pissed about like when I extended the game and didn't let him build. He built some stuff on our side to take out the Fatoras, and I kind of stopped him, and he got kind of upset about it. But Salman getting upset is on a category of a scale is still super chill compared to when Logan loses his shit.
Hey, you guys just gotta keep me on Logan's team, and I'll just calm him down. I just shut the fuck up. I know when he's going crazy. I'll just tell him to shut the fuck up.
Well,
It'll be okay. Trust me. I'll do it. I don't mind. I'll just say, Logan, shut the fuck up, and he will. I got your guys' back from going forward. I knew it was getting a little wrong hand there for a minute.
Nah, man, I thought everybody performed pretty good, like very nicely today.
Sharky came refreshed after last week's absence.
Yeah, man. Hey, Sharky, what the hell did you do with man?
Credit to Sharky. Sharky was only out there because of me. Come on, bro.
Doble actually asked this last game. He's like, "Hey, man, I don't know what to build." So I told him build skirms.
Yeah, that was great. That was great advice. Oh, definitely.
And then Sharky had the halves, and then we were just fucking hold it. We held it like fucking badasses. I sent him a gif of Hold Door, from Game of Thrones. Hold Door. I was like, that was us last game. Hold Door.
You guys
We got it.
You guys throw in a couple of trebs and you're in business, man.
Hey, Sharky, you like the calf dancing around your halves?
Oh
though?
shit! Like how
That was
really
great.
lectured me.
It's like John, no, John, no, John, no, no, John, no.
No, that was great. Everyone did pretty
Yeah, it was
good.
a good map though. Fun games. Tonight.
So did you guys on par in general like the maps?
I like the second
It's
map.
the second map.
More
Yeah,
than the
I didn't like the first one.
You didn't like
I think first on the games are kind of too long, but I don't. Maybe it's because of new map. But the second one felt like, I guess it was all faster paced. I guess.
No, I felt
Did
like
you?
the first one was more faster paced, to be honest. But the resources were a little bit more scarce, less laney compared to the
Yeah.
third one, so it's
Yeah,
more
less
open.
laney.
So it's just like
Yeah.
you get into it immediately.
Well,
But
the
it's like
second
still-
one was
still
bigger.
pretty
Where-
wide,
Or
the
was the
first
second
map.
one just a 3-player map or no?
No,
I
the
was
one we
it felt
just
like
played.
They're
they
all
both?
3-player maps. We only
Okay,
play
it
3-player
it
maps
felt
right now.
bigger though. The second one felt bigger.
Yeah, that's because like they were separated. So there's like 3 kind of areas. There's left, right, and middle. Whereas the first one was just open.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's exactly the difference.
Yeah, it felt a
Yeah.
lot different.
Well, that
Yeah.
and the two Fatoras being next to each other in the mid, I think is interesting too. It's kind of like
Didn't that make it a difference
well,
though?
that plus the the relics in the mid, man. That gold relics in the mid.
Hey man, no
That
one made
gold,
it.
baby. That gold, baby.
No one's made it to the relics yet. That's some good
Yeah,
contesting
man.
going on right there, right?
That's because I wasn't mid, but next week I'll be mid. So
Hey man,
Oh, my-
Sharky and Double try.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Donkey?
share with him
Hey.
if
Hey,
that
we're not
Kung
taking
Fury
back
T-Rex.
tryhards.
I just know after the last game, after we kind of hit Munsif early on, Sharky
Mhm.
called him Bichara.
Oh, I tell you this much though. Before the game started, he was mentally prepared that he was gonna go down. Like at least he was mentally prepared. He knew. So he kept his cool, and then he just like
But
went.
he made a comeback like Biden, man. He brought the blue wave with him.
Wait, Tony is a bitch.
Hey man, he bought the blue and red wave with him.
I think next week he's gonna actually have to be blue.
No, but it was good games tonight. Good maps.
No, it was very good. I'm glad you guys liked it. We'll see. So obviously the because I've been standardizing the 3-player kind of template. So it's really a matter of like how I start configuring like where we're gonna fight, and like that'll make the difference between is it really a big it gives you a feeling of a big map or a smaller map. I know generally you guys like the quadrant laning and that sort of thing, but I can't make it like that all the time. But yeah, exactly. But because then everyone leaves one side completely open.
I
So
remember that one map we used to play. I think it was like a expanded version of Oasis or something, where we always used to fight on one side, even though there was like two sides of the map, because blue was always on the other side.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
switch.
Then the one time he flipped it, you guys got like, what? That was the only game of Oasis that ended before an hour mark. Only one.
Yeah, that's man. I'm pretty sure that based on what you guys have learned so far, I think the games will be much faster. I think, but unfortunately, we're just still not there yet. Like I know the games are going to be faster. It's just that you guys still kind of learning still how to push. The pushing is still weak. Right now it's still zerging on pikes and skirms and whatever. So I mean, right now, like when in a death match, like all of that disappears like very quickly. Like like with certain units, it just goes away. So the thing is, if you don't know how to push and your teammates are relying on you, like to make that push, oh my god, like So I still think that hopefully we can get everyone at somewhat of a decent, not at the same level, but I'm hoping at a decent level, like where you can count on certain people to support like certain things. Like for me, Dobo supporting would be awesome. Like getting into a support role, being effective there would be great. Sharky kind of like doing more of a hybrid role would be great. I would say the same thing. Munsif doing like kind of like a hybrid support and sort of attack, like similar. And then it's really between the four, like Shoaib, you, Logan, Faisal, and Salman should generally be like like I should be able to honestly like interchange people without like too much of a hassle, like without too much, like generally that should be pretty okay. So to me, that will create like the ultimate like okay, generally that's really really good, which basically means that my involvement on any given team is not as like it wouldn't be as like significant. It would be kind of like okay, just a bit, and because all of you are doing generally pretty darn good. So so and for that the communication at least and the scouting, like if those two things you guys are generally everybody's kind of like good at, then I think we'll be pretty good. But I liked how the games went today, not because of the wins and losses, but just because I thought that everyone did really really good. Like Shrib, you also kind of like figured out a little bit of your thing of like taking out the Fatora with the type of units and stuff. I just my advice to you is not do it like every time.
Yeah,
The
first two games I think I was like too defensive too, so that didn't help.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is don't. What I'm saying is, we know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking you're doing this shit on the side, you're not doing it on the side. We know. It's just that the guy whom you're doing it against, he doesn't know. So it works in a case or two, but if you do it too many times, then you could get really hurt. So other than that, though, but yes, I think you recognize that you were kind of like more conservative. I think Salman was saying that so Shoaib was a little conservative or too early. I think there were a couple of times where Logan and they were fighting and then they died and then you showed up and then you died. So, but if you showed up like right there, because it wasn't that you didn't have army. Actually, you had army. Man, so you guys would have been.
I needed to scout better that game, which I told my team. Right?
I see.
I think I was kind of like getting ready for Saman to engage, but
No, but the thing was, you didn't notice I engaged with the rest of my team.
oh yeah, that, and I think you had like a bomber tower up, kind of close to me a little bit. So anyway, I just needed to scout better that.
Oh damn! It's the bombard tower.
It was one bombard tower. It wasn't threatening anything.
It doesn't matter. It was did it fire cannonballs?
I know his response though. It was 4 traps.
Hey man, you don't throw cannonballs. Arrows are fine. He'll take arrows every day. He just can't deal with them the cannonballs, man. That's too much.
Yeah, but I think it's like, I guess the way I see it, we're improving it for adjusting throughout the night, right? So,
I think so.
Otherwise, in the past, like to Munsa's point, we didn't learn anything. We just repeated every game, right? But I think now that we're learning and we're adapting, and it's not always gonna work out. But that also takes a little bit toll on me too, because obviously when I have to kind of do more of the thinking sometimes, and obviously I'm not as good as Logan or fast as Logan, so that kind of slows me down a little bit too, right? So get used to that a little bit.
Hey, but I think it's helped that you don't have to do that for like 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
Like because the games are ending very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whoa. It's like
there's generally less frustration, right? Like even if let's say you technically lost, right? It's the new game. It didn't last that long because if you're freaking lost after an hour and a half, 2-hour game, then that's frustrating.
To me, like if you're able to take out one Fatura, that's a great win. And now the question would be: is how are you gonna take out the next? Like the next one. Like you have to figure out like, okay, we couldn't do that. Now we can do it. So now the question is, if we do it, what do we give up, or how do we do the next step? So I think everyone's improving, and generally the trend has been that during the games over the night, like over the games that you guys are playing, everybody's improving. So that's been great to see. Like I thought this game was great. Last game was great. Like I don't know about the last game. Last game was kind of like okay, but the game prior, last game was actually good prior to this one because Sharky and Dobo were super communicating, so they got really better. Like that was
I kind of forced them to do that. So
okay, so there you go, man. So that's a great combo. We may actually roll with that, Shoaib, because I think that actually worked out. And then we're gonna try to figure out with Munsa try to get more communication.
I think that's not a bad combo because that way you also have to kind of technically do a bit less too, right? Technically, so it's not a bad combo to try out.
Yep. So
to me, forces me to get better too, I guess more so. So it's not bad.
Okay. So I mean, if you guys everyone's kind of like cool with that, so maybe we could roll with that. And hey, man, your nemesis became your ally, Dobo. What the heck?
When frenemies become friends.
Ebony and Ivory.
You guys are a bunch of little Teletubbies.
We are. I'll tickle his tummy if I ever beat him in person.
All right, guys. It's like 2 a.m., but
good games though.
Good games. It was. It was
guys,
fun.
that was fun. That was a good one. You guys.
All right, y'all. Take it easy.
The stream is gonna be interesting tomorrow. So.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right, good night.
All right, night.